Researchers who study social behavior have found something that sounds backwards at first. The smarter someone is, the less time they tend to spend with friends, even when those friends love them, even when the friendships are good ones. Not because they're too busy, not because something went wrong, because something in how they process connection works differently than you'd expect. You've probably seen this play out with someone in your own life. There's a group chat that used to buzz all day, and now one person just reacts with a thumbs up and disappears. There's a friend who used to be the one organizing every hangout, and now you're the one sending the "Hey, we miss you" text that gets a warm reply and no follow-through. Nothing dramatic happened, no fight, no falling out. They just quietly stepped back, one skipped dinner and one unanswered call at a time, until you realized you hadn't actually spoken in months. So why does this keep happening to exactly the people who seem like they'd have the fullest social lives? The ones who are sharp, curious, good in conversation, the ones everyone wants at the party. Why are they so often the first to vanish from it? If you're watching this, you're either the person who's been pulling away, or you're the one left wondering what you did wrong. Maybe both at different points in your life. This isn't just a video about smart people being antisocial. It's about a pattern in how the brain manages relationships once it's given a certain amount of processing power. And understanding it will change how you read every quiet friend, every unanswered message, every person who seems to be drifting out of your world for no visible reason. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly what's happening in their head when they go quiet, and more usefully, what you can actually do about it, whether that person is you or someone you love. But here's the part almost nobody talks about. There's one detail in this pattern that flips the entire story once you see it, and it has nothing to do with how much someone likes their friends. Before we get there, you need to understand what's actually driving the disappearing act in the first place. Here's the reframe. Most people assume that withdrawing from friends means something is wrong: depression, burnout, arrogance, or just growing apart. Sometimes that's true, but for a specific group of people, something else is happening, and it's been sitting in the research for years. Evolutionary psychologists studying life satisfaction found a strange split in how socializing affects people. For most people, spending more time with friends predicts more happiness. The more you hang out, the better you feel. But for people with higher measured intelligence, that curve bends the other way. More frequent socializing didn't raise their life satisfaction. In some cases, it lowered it. The people who felt best weren't the ones with packed calendars. They were the ones who socialized less, but chose more carefully who they spent that time with. Think about what that means in practice. Your brain evolved for small, tight groups, not for constant contact. For most people, modern social life, more friends, more group chats, more get-togethers, still reads as safety, as belonging, as good. But a highly analytical brain processes social interaction the same way it processes everything else, as information to sort, evaluate, and extract meaning from. Small talk isn't restful for that kind of mind, it's work. A dinner full of surface-level chatter about weekend plans and weather doesn't recharge them, it drains them. The same way sitting through a meeting with no real content drains you, except this is happening at every party, every group hangout, every casual catch-up. Here's the line worth remembering. Intelligent people don't lose interest in connection, they lose tolerance for connection that doesn't go anywhere. Picture your smartest friend at a gathering. Everyone else is relaxed, laughing, riding the easy rhythm of group conversation. Your friend is nodding along, but part of their mind is somewhere else, quietly noticing that the conversation has circled the same 3 topics for 40 minutes. They're not judging anyone, they're just registering, the way you'd register a song stuck on repeat, that nothing new is being exchanged. Multiply that feeling across every casual hangout for a year, and you start to understand why they stop showing up. It isn't that they don't value people, it's that shallow contact, repeated often enough, starts to feel like a cost instead of a comfort. That's the first force at work, a brain that treats low-depth socializing as draining rather than restorative, and quietly starts opting out of it. But intelligence alone doesn't explain everything. There's a second force running underneath this, one that has almost nothing to do with brain power and everything to do with what happens in the exact moment they choose silence over a reply. Most people get this part completely wrong, and once you understand it, you'll never read a friend's silence the same way again. To understand why intelligent people disappear, you have to look past "they got busy" and into 3 specific patterns working together. The first barrier is satiation, the point where more social contact stops adding value and starts subtracting it. You already saw the research behind this. Picture it like a glass that fills fast. A short, focused conversation with one person can fill that glass completely. A 3-hour group hangout with 6 people barely touches it because most of the exchange is small talk, coordination, and repetition. Once the glass hits its limit, every extra invitation feels less like connection and more like an obligation. So they start saying no, not to the person, but to the format. The second barrier is cognitive mismatch, and this is the barrier tied to that second force I mentioned. Highly analytical minds tend to process conversation for pattern and meaning almost automatically. When a conversation stays surface level, "How was your weekend? Can you believe this weather?" part of their brain keeps waiting for it to go somewhere, and it doesn't. That waiting is exhausting in a way most people never notice happening to them, because most people aren't doing it. This is the hidden detail. When they go quiet in a group, it is rarely rejection of the people in the room. It's fatigue from a conversation that never left the shallow end. The silence gets read as coldness. It's actually closer to depletion. The third barrier is selective investment. Human relationships have a real cost. Time, emotional energy, mental bandwidth, and everyone has a limit on how many relationships they can maintain at real depth. Researchers who study social networks have long pointed to a natural ceiling on how many close relationships one person can sustain. Intelligent people tend to hit that ceiling early and get deliberate about it. They keep 2 or 3 people close and let the wider circle fade, not out of arrogance, but because spreading themselves across 20 surface-level friendships feels, to them, like having none. Here's what happens if this pattern goes unaddressed. The person doing the withdrawing gets labeled as distant, difficult, or too good for their old friends, when really they're just conserving energy for the connections that actually feed them. Meanwhile, the friends who feel shut out stop reaching out entirely, assuming the door is closed when a different kind of invitation might have kept it open. Both sides walk away with the wrong story. The friendship doesn't end in a moment, it erodes in silence, built on a misunderstanding neither person ever said out loud. And the person withdrawing often ends up more isolated than they intended because "I need less shallow contact" quietly turned into "I have no one to call when things actually go wrong." That's the cost of leaving this pattern unexamined. Now let's get into what actually fixes it, both for the person pulling away and for the people who want to stay close to them. If you recognize yourself in this, or you recognize someone you love, here's what to actually do about it. Step 1. Audit your invitations instead of your friendships. Before deciding you need fewer friends, look at what kind of contact is draining you. The psychological reason this works is that satiation is about format, not people. Instead of turning down every group hangout, try replacing one large gathering a month with one focused one-on-one conversation. A real sentence to use: "I'd love to see you, but can we grab coffee just the 2 of us, instead of the big group thing?" That single swap often restores the friendship without costing you the energy the group version was draining. Step 2. Name the pattern out loud to the people who matter most. Silence gets misread as rejection because nobody explains it. The psychological rationale here is simple. Clarity prevents the wrong story from forming in someone else's head. Try saying, "I've been pulling back from group stuff lately. It's not about you, I just do better with fewer, deeper conversations." That one sentence can save a friendship that silence would have slowly killed. Step 3. Build one recurring, low-effort touchpoint instead of relying on spontaneous invites. This works because it removes the decision fatigue of "should I go" every single time. A specific example: A standing monthly phone call with your closest friend. Same day, same time. No planning required. Low effort, high depth. Exactly the kind of contact that doesn't trigger the drain.
Step 4. And this one's for you if you're the friend of someone who's been disappearing. Change the invitation, not the person. Instead of, "We're all getting drinks Friday, you in?" Try, "Want to grab food, just us? I want to actually catch up." You're not asking them to become more social. You're offering the format that already works for how they're wired. Step 5. Give the relationship permission to look different than it used to. Not every friendship needs weekly contact to stay real. The psychological shift here is measuring closeness by depth of conversation, not frequency of contact. A friend you talk to once a month, deeply and honestly, can matter more than a group chat you're in every day and never truly present in. Here's the thesis worth sitting with. Intelligent people don't disappear because they stop caring. They disappear because the version of connection most of us default to, frequent, wide, low depth, stops working for a mind built to process everything for meaning. The fix was never be more social. It was making room for the kind of contact that actually fills them up and offering that same kind of contact to the people we don't want to lose. If this explains someone in your life or explained you, tell us about it in the comments. We want to know which part hit closest to home. And if you want more videos that make sense of the patterns hiding in plain sight in your relationships, subscribe. There's a lot more where this came from. This has been Wiser You. See you in the next one.